Hey, family, welcome to this new video from moonwatchfr. Spending €1,000 or more on a Casio G-Shock, do you have to be crazy to do that? Well, today we're going to try to answer that question as I'm going to introduce you to a Casio G-Shock Mtg limited edition Volcano. This is the high end of the brand. It's simple. Only the MRG collections are above the Mtg collections. And you'll see that this watch is the P. It has more than one trick up its sleeve. Alright, let's go. The Casio G-Shock Volcano Mtg B1000 watch is the high end of the Casio G-Shock collections. It features a dedicated case with a shock-resistant structure and is equipped with cutting-edge technologies such as luminous display, automatic calendar, a stopwatch, a countdown timer, a daily alarm, etc. Both a tool watch and a tactical watch. This Casio Mtg Volcano Lightning stands as a major evolution of the G-Shock watches that are so renowned. It is the perfect choice for those looking for a watch that combines style, durability, high performance, and a premium watch. Often, Casio G-Shock is synonymous with resin and accessible modules, but this Casio Mtg is decidedly a high-end watch that benefits from the latest technological innovations of the Japanese brand. Thus, we will find Bluetooth connectivity, multiband 6, solar power, and movement technology. In short, we are dealing with the high-end range from Casio G-Shock. The technical specifications of this Casio G-Shock Mtg US Volcano. It is a watch produced in 2020, more of a men's watch, as its dimensions are 44.7 mm by 14.4 mm. The weight of the watch is 103 grams, so it's quite a substantial piece. Naturally, the watch is water resistant up to 20 ATM, as this is a G-Shock specification. Inside, we have a Casio module 5544, which offers a plethora of functions. Tog movement, world time, Bluetooth, Tuk Solar, multiband, G-Shock, connected alarm, chronometer, countdown timer, etc. The log width is in a special format, and we have a screw-down crown, a sapphire crystal, a fixed bezel, and the reference number of the model I'm presenting to you today is Mtg B1000 VL4A. First of all, the case of this Casio Mtg Volcano watch measures 44.7 millimeters in diameter for 14.4 mm in thickness. These are the measurements I took with calipers. If you look at the descriptions for used watches, you often read diameters of 54 millimeters, etc. But these are diameters that include the crown and small case protrusions. As a result, it's not really the diameter of the watch. Here, we truly have a watch that is just a little under 45 mm in thickness. In diameter, this virile watch will therefore be perfectly suitable for a man with a generous wrist. Obviously, for smaller wrists, it might be complicated, especially because of its specific lugs, but we'll come back to that. The case of this watch, Casio G-Shock, incorporates the main features that have made this range of unbreakable watches successful. We will have water resistance up to 20 ATM, shock resistance, splash resistance, mud resistance, dust resistance, etc. What makes this Volcano Lightning version special is this bezel that has a volcano treatment. A treatment truly specific to this Casio Mtg reference. This treatment, which is called Volcano Lightning at Casio, shines with 1,000 colors. This bulky watch, it's really very beautiful. On camera, it's quite difficult to see. But depending on the light exposure, you will see rainbow reflections. And yet, it's not the rainbow model. I find this Volcano much prettier than the rainbow, in terms of the color choices of the bezel. To continue, we have a very large screw-down crown that allows for adjusting the different modes and features offered. It's important to know that the handling is excellent, and as always with watches from the G-Shock Mtg and MRG range, the user experience is excellent. Regarding the case back, which ensures water resistance up to 200 meters, it is a case back that is screwed down with 4 screws. It has numerous inscriptions. The decor, featuring the various specifications and features available on this Casio G-Shock tool watch. There is a lot of literature. Among the main information that can be found on this case back, of course, you will find the Bluetooth symbol, as it is a watch that can connect to your smartphone via the G-Shock Connected app. You will also find the multiband 6 and tough solar, indicating that the watch synchronizes automatically via radio waves, ensuring atomic time accuracy. And the watch is solar powered, meaning you won't have to change the battery. Regarding the dial of this Casio Mtg B1000 Volcano, it is a rather busy dial as it features 3 sub-dials positioned at 6, 9 and 12, which serve the various functions offered by the module 55544. Just like certain parts of the case, the volcanic lightning look is incorporated, adding color to the dial. For example, you can find it here where it says on-off. You will also find it on the edging of the sub-dials, which is really very nice. In addition to these 3 sub-dials, there is a small AM/PM indicator here, which simply helps to know whether it is morning or afternoon, in the second time zone displayed by the watch. So it's something very practical, especially if you travel often. Next, we will find the hands. Bulky. These hands ensure very good readability of the time and functions. A specially designed color code to improve visibility distinguishes each hand with incredibly powerful luminescent material, allowing you to read the time in the dark without having to press the light button located here. This lighting is simple. It will illuminate the different indexes, which means that in the end we will have excellent visibility. And once again, in the Casio MTG and Casio MRG lines, Kiktam, everything is thought out, nothing is left to chance. Moreover, this dial contains many details. So it may seem like a gimmick or unnecessary, where it feels like it's overloading for no reason. The dial. But every detail has been carefully thought out, considered, and approved by the designers of this watch. Don't think at Casio that they add things just for the sake of it, to make decoration or show, at least not on these MTG or MRG lines. To finish, we find a sapphire crystal that protects the dial, the hands, and the photosensitive cells that recharge the battery of this watch, Casio G-Shock Connected. Where Casio G-Shock has accustomed us to plastic crystals, mineral crystals that tend to scratch on their high-end watches, namely the MRG and MTG, we will have a sapphire glass, as one might find on the most luxurious Swiss watches. Inside this G-Shock Volcanic Lightning Casio fits its module 5544. This is one of the most advanced modules developed by Casio. In addition to the traditional features such as alarm, world time, second time zone, schedule, calendar, stopwatch, countdown, timer, etc. We will find a multiband 6 synchronization, which allows the watch to sync with atomic time every day. Solar charging, Bluetooth connection, the tug movement, in short, you get the idea. These ranges of Casio G-Shock MTG watches demonstrate all the expertise of the Japanese multinational company. This watch is remarkably precise thanks to the various synchronization technologies. I mentioned the multiband 6, which allows synchronization with atomic time. But there is also synchronization via Bluetooth to the time of your smartphone, which makes this Volcano MTG B1000 one of the most precise references from Casio G-Shock. This watch comes with a translucent red strap. The color and shape go really well with this tool watch Casio Mtg Bezel Volcano. But there is a flaw with this strap, it's its rigidity. The strap is extremely stiff, and as a result, this stiffness, this rigidity, slightly affects the comfort of the watch. And that I was a little disappointed. So after this strap, it exudes solidity and robustness. But the lack of flexibility still affects the comfort of the watch. And even the simple act of fastening the watch, the strap being so rigid, there's always a fear of tearing it. Obviously something that won't happen since it's ultra robust. For the closure, Casio opts for a simple Ardillon buckle with a loop that is signed G-Shock. Overall, it matches quite well. Personally, I prefer having an Ardillon buckle that ensures excellent hold rather than a deployant buckle, which is risky. Here on the MTG B1000 lines, Casio has chosen an Ardillon buckle, and it's quite good, by the way. You find exactly the same thing on the MTG B2000 lines. I will soon present my Phoenix edition to you, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, family. And I will also present my B3000 edition to you. 40 years anniversary, which I got for my 40th birthday since I was born the same year as the birth of Casio G-Shock. So you're going to see two little gems. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Obviously, this type of strap has the advantage of perfectly fitting the wrist. Unfortunately, because the watch is quite thick, quite heavy, and as a result, it provides comfort. Unfortunately, since this type of lug is in a proprietary format, it will be quite complicated to change the strap unless you buy compatible straps directly from Casio. Obviously, this lug, it contributes to the crazy look of this watch, as the lug is already in a rather beautiful pinkish color, which also catches reflections. We find side parts that remind us of the bezel, so you get the idea. Casio really thought through every detail of the watch. But obviously the downside is that it's quite difficult to customize this type of piece. On the wrist, the watch is just incredible. I remind you, I have a 17.5 centimeter wrist, so a small wrist, and the watch fits perfectly. Of all my G-Shocks, I think this is one of the ones I prefer to wear. I don't know if it's related to the shape of the case or its look, but I find it really nice. Another small flaw. Though with these Casio G-Shock watches, a common flaw with all the MTGs I own and some other Casios is often the end that sticks out on small wrists, the end of the strap that protrudes. And that horrifies me here on this MTG B1000 Volcano. I don't have the flaw because the strap stops relatively quickly and therefore I don't have any extra bits. But you will see it on my wrist. That's not the case. I have an extra centimeter that gets in the way, so there you go. That's something to consider too. Look at this beauty, mom. Isn't it beautiful? Regarding the packaging at Casio, it's relatively simple since Casio delivers its G-Shock MTG in a box protected by a cardboard outer box stamped in red with an MTG limited edition. When you remove this outer box, you will find a box made of, I'm not quite sure what the material is, but it has a plaque that reflects the volcanic theme. On it you find MTG, limited edition. It's very nice, honestly, it looks great, I love it, especially since the specification is that the other limited editions from Casio MTG, namely the Peru and the Phoenix, have exactly the same boxes, but with this different metal plaque that reflects the color theme of the Peru and the Phoenix. You'll see on my Phoenix the box is really very, very beautiful, which means that when you put the two side by side, it looks impressive. Inside, we simply find the watch on a presentation cushion. Nothing too crazy on that side. It's neat, it's very well executed. We're looking at a watch priced at €1,000 at launch. So there you go. It's very good. And here we find the MTG limited edition. On the side here, we obviously find the user manual for this Casio G-Shock and its module 55444. The manual is quite thick. It's not very complicated to get the hang of, yet Casio G-Shocks, whatever they are, you get used to them quite quickly. And of course, we also have the warranty card regarding the price of this MTG B1000 Lightning Volcano. The launch price was $990, but very quickly the watch sold out. As you might expect, it's a highly sought-after watch, and today the only way to get it is to turn to the grey market, and there off you go. However, the prices are a bit crazy as they reach around €1,800 to €2,000 for full set versions like this one. So, After that, well, we're now used to it with Casio. Their limited editions on high-end models, namely MTG and MRG. These are simply watches with a premium, meaning they maintain at least their purchase price, and often these are watches that start to increase in value. That's also why they are sought after both by brand enthusiasts like me, but also by budding speculators who think, why not make a little profit from it? Well, family, you know it, I love watches. Casio G-Shock because they are sturdy, they withstand the ups and downs of life, and generally they are not very expensive, allowing you to enjoy them at a low cost. Here, it's a little different because it involves spending over 1,500 euros on a Casio G-Shock, and then you start to ask questions, even wondering if at that price it might be better to buy a nice Swiss automatic watch. And it's true that we ask ourselves this question, we have a moment of hesitation, but this hesitation fades quite quickly when you hold the watch in your hand. And that for several reasons. First of all, simply because as soon as you hold the watch, you can feel the materials, the quality of execution, edité, the quality of manufacturing. The choice made on the different arrangements, elements of the dial that are simply perfect. So yes, 1,000 or 1,500 euro is a colossal budget for a watch, even more so when it's a Casio. But clearly, this watch is amazing. I love it. I don't know, out of my entire collection of Casio G-Shock, there's only one I prefer over this one. It's my MRG G1000. For many reasons, of course, I will present it to you and explain why. But this Volcano, I find it incredible. Moreover, this limited edition is aimed at a knowledgeable audience, fans of the Japanese brand who are looking for a tool watch with impeccable finishes. It just goes to show that you can have an almost unbreakable watch that doesn't look like a plastic Lego brick. Now, there are a few drawbacks to this watch, particularly the strap. For me, in fact, it's the only real flaw, the strap, which is extremely stiff. But once you get past that, you have to admit that the watch sits well on the wrist, and eventually the plastic ends up taking shape of your forearm. So that's actually quite good. There is still a small detail I wanted to mention, which is that it's a limited edition. But as with all limited editions, Casio does not provide information regarding the number of units produced, and this mystery contributes to the watch's value. So, for some it's good, for others it's less so. Honestly, I'll tell you, this watch, if it had been released without the limited edition, it wouldn't have changed much. I think I would have bought it. At the same price, in the same way, because it's really a watch that I like a lot, so there you go, folks. My review of this Casio Volcano is coming to an end. Feel free to comment on what you think of the watch. Do you own any watches? Casio limited edition, maybe even cheaper models, because Casio releases quite a few references. You can find limited editions around 150 euros. Let me know in the comments, and also let me know in the comments. Would you be willing to spend that much on a Casio watch? It's true that often when I talk with watch enthusiasts, for them it's inconceivable to spend 1,500 bucks on a G-Shock. Of course, I don't share that opinion, so let me know in the comments. Family, it will be an opportunity to interact with you, so remember to give a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to our little channel. If you haven't done so yet before we part ways, don't forget that there's still time to participate in our giveaway contest. Feel free to check out the dedicated video. And with that, family, I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.